Welcome, fans, to tonight's show. We are here with Coach Herron back after last week's stand-in with Coach Bolton. We are going to talk about the Hunter Huss game and the success we had there in that night, and talk about the upcoming game this week against North Gaston, as well as name our Butler's Outdoor Designs Players of the Week. So stick with us after the break and come right back, and we'll talk to Coach Herron. See you in a few.
Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight, the weekly coaches show for Kings Mountain High School, brought to you by KMHS Sports and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Coach, as always,
Yes, sir.
welcome.
Good
to see you again. Great start to the conference season. Big win against Hunter Huss. What I'm gonna do is, like always, I broke down the quarters. I'm gonna let you talk about them. First quarter, 2 touchdowns from JoJo, big pass from TJ. That was a great play where he makes a great throw. Gash catches, runs, gets tackled, fumbles, scoops the ball, and plays and gets up. And Drew's going to show that highlight in a minute while you're talking about it.
Good.
And then we were able to. We actually had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Got returned by a penalty, but that was a big deal. Talk about what you saw, the good and the bad, and what you thought about the first quarter, how we started the game.
Well, I thought we started real well, and I was pleased with how we were executing on offense. You know, we still have some things that we've got to work out, but I thought we executed well. We were running it and throwing it where however we wanted to, and it's good when TJ's making the right reads and getting the ball where it needs to go, and then at the same time, you know, our receivers are running great routes. And the really good thing, and I knock on wood, is you know, we haven't given up a sack recently, and that's a good sign. Our offensive line's doing a good job up front. So offensively, I really like the way we start out playing. But you know, I'm always go back to the defense. You know, our defense was pretty shut down on them early, which was good, especially after giving up a kickoff for a touchdown, which is it's infuriating. But you know, that's one of those things that we gotta get fixed.
Well, just to, I thought you made reference to the offensive line. You know, losing the center, losing Braylon early on, he got banged up a little bit. It's not an easy job for a guy to go in and back up, but it's especially difficult at center.
Yep.
And I really thought that Grayson going in and playing the rest of the game, I thought he did an adequate job being able to step in, because that's a big position to go into.
Yeah, it's hard, and you know, that's the great thing about having him. I'm so glad that we got him, because he had already done it in the past, and then so he can kind of fall in, but he also helps us at guard too.
Right.
So he's a huge asset to what we're doing, and you know, and like I said, all those guys did a really good job. You know, again, we got to get a little better in the run game. Not so much. We're in the right places. We're just not knocking people back. We got to do that.
Reset the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, just drive, move your feet. We do a good job being in the right place. We just don't. We got to drive our feet sometimes. So, but that's going to get better and better, I know. But I was real pleased with the first half, except for that kickoff.
So I'm gonna go to the second quarter. Drew, you want to run that highlight, and I'll let Coach talk about it. So this is the play. And we're talking over it, as you see. So
yeah, it was just a good read. We worked on it all week. We knew about how their safeties were going to play, and it would give Gash opportunity to get in that seam. And he does a great job catching the ball. And hats off to the Hunter Huss player, man. If you zoom in on that and watch that play, he does an excellent job ripping that ball out. And but we gotta protect it.
Yep.
You know, we got to keep it high and tight and not let them get it out of there on us. But and then another is Gash being heads up, going after it, getting that ball and scoring. So it was a good play for us, big play in the game.
So the second quarter was pretty exciting. We had a safety that was set up by a tackle by Tex. Tex converted, or there was an interception, and he made a big tackle down there near the goal line that sets us up for a safety. And then we get a long a touchdown pass to him, and then a long, powerful run by Joe on the left side. I noticed there was a huge hole for him to go through. Had good blocking on that side too. And we're going up. We go into the half up 30-6.
Yeah.
So there again, it looked to me like it was in the Burns game in that second quarter. We just began to really be able to do things we want to do offensively. At least it appeared. So how are you feeling about that performance and going into halftime?
Well, again, the offense. I thought the offense executed really well, but the great thing about it right now, and this is what we've got to continue to do, is when our defense walks on the field, we know we have an opportunity to make something happen.
Yes.
It's going the opposing offense. They've got a tough task at hand, and I love the way our guys play. They're going to come off the ball fast and hard and low, and they're going to get after the football. And so again. And Coach Carroll, after the game, we met this weekend. He had it all broke down. We lined up wrong 11 times. We only had 38 snaps on defense, but we lined up wrong 11 times. And his, some people say 11 times really isn't that bad. For Coach Carroll, it's terrible. So. And so we worked on that today. We think a lot of it might be with communication, so we worked on that today, practicing. But we got to get better at that. We can't have guys lined up in the wrong place. And then we always had one little small thing, usually in execution, that wasn't exactly right. So, the best thing, but the number one thing you got to do in defense is you got to have the heart to get after football.
Yes. Until
that thing is on the ground, and those guys are doing
it. Huss could not execute at all, and that's nothing against them. I'm not bashing them, like you saw or what we saw watching. And I know even though you said they were not in line 11 times, but they are swarming. There was a lot of gold around the plays. He was, that quarterback is talented, and
very talented.
He was frustrated, you could tell, and then of course their offensive line got frustrated because I'm sure he was fussing out a little bit, but they couldn't handle the pressure. The
pressure was tough.
The defense played lights out again. And what I like about that is they've been consistent. The offense is starting to come around, but the defense has been consistent. So what that always, at least to me, that makes you feel like it keeps you in the ball game.
Right.
It might not ever feel like you're ever out of a game based on how well they're playing.
That's right. And you never know when our defense may give us a football in an opportune place. Like they haven't snapped the ball over the punter's head down there right off the get-go and give it to us on the one. Now, of course, it took us 4 times to get it in, which did not make me happy at all. But we got it in. But they gave us that. It's just because of the pressure that they put on them. I'm sure that had something to do with that ball going over the punter's head, and it gives it to us in a great place. So I like the way our defense is playing. I love the way that they're getting after the ball and putting pressure on the offense.
So I thought the third quarter went well. TJ had a big pass to his brother. We got another score. Of course, JoJo had another one. We had a field goal by Rom going up 39-6. And the third quarter was where Huss decided to get a little chippy.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I was really impressed with, and this is a testament to you all, our guys handled it. They at least it appeared from, we weren't on the field, so of course I don't hear it, but you could tell, or at least it appeared like we were holding in check and not reacting to what the chippiness was doing, and I was proud of our men for doing that.
And that was after the game when we met. That was the most important thing that I talked to them about. And then I also, at the end of practice today, I also talked to them again, just telling them how proud I was of how they handled the situation. This is where I'm used to. This is what I want. I explained to them that, you know, reputation is everything. You know, my dad taught me when I was young that, you know, if you do something that kills your reputation, it takes forever to get it back if you ever do. And so we don't ever want to get in that position where people look at us and go, we're out of control, we're undisciplined. Yeah. The coaches don't have control of the players. We don't want to be in that position because that's I've told my players they know this. The number one thing I hate is to get embarrassed. It's just something I've always lived with. I don't know what it is, but I don't like to be embarrassed, whether it's a funny thing or a bad thing or whatever it is. And so I think they've bought into that. They don't want to let me down, and that's a great thing. And the way that they handled themselves, even the official came over to me and said, "Coach, I just want to commend your players on how they're handling what's going on. I need your help to get them to keep doing that because it's going to, in his words, it's going to get worse." Yeah. And so. And we did a great job. I mean,
I thought so.
It was incredible.
Well, it goes back to what you and I have talked about a lot. There's a standard that is set. Right. There's an expectation, and you know you can set them, but when they meet them, it makes you feel even better. And they did. I was very impressed with them, and they played well. But that in a time when they could have retaliated or they could have mouthed back or shoved or whatever, they didn't. Yeah,
there's one where the guy rips. I think Samarion's helmet off his head and then throws it in his gut.
To be honest, we saw that. I saw it when it happened, and I thought that they may throw him out for that.
I did too, but they didn't. But Samarion, he just threw his hands up like, man, what? And so, but he didn't say anything. Right. And I was very, very pleased with the way they controlled themselves.
So the fourth quarter, they did get their other score, but even though they scored, one of the things that stuck out to me about that was the hustle play by Dakota. Yep. I mean, there were other guys pursuing, but Dakota hawked the guy. I mean, he ran a long way and did not give up on the play and got the guy.
I know Dakota was there, but...
Was it he that got it?
I think it was Latham
Feenstra
that actually got to him. Dakota was chasing behind. He never gave up. But he never could catch him. I think Latham Feenstra came from the other side.
Then I'm sorry, Latham. I apologize. Because I'm trying to make notes, and then I was doing, but I got the wrong number. But I did see Dakota's there. But great job by Latham, because yes, it was a hustle play, and it was. I mean, it would have been easy to say, well, he's gone. We'll just let him score.
Yeah, we call those Alamo tackles. Those are tackles that when the guy gets loose, if we have somebody that'll chase him down, this Alamo tackles, and it gives them a lot of production points. So.
Coach, nobody survived the Alamo.
That's right. Well, you got to round up the troops.
That's what I'm just messing.
Yes. Troops.
Well, the Mexican side, they also.
That's right.
See, there you go. Okay. So I'm just messing with you. That's the history teacher coming out in me. So good game, good win, 39-13, the final. We'll do what we always do. Coach, give me your 3 takeaways from the game.
Well, the first one is what we've already talked about. Is I think, as a coach and doing this for a while, discipline is everything. You know, I think when our kids are and coaches are disciplined, they learn how to coach and how to practice being disciplined. And then when bad things happen, which they're going to, how to handle that.
How do you respond?
So it's the response that's so important. And we haven't. That's a whole part of the leadership that I like to teach, and we haven't gotten into that yet this year. I'm trying to decide what's the best way to do it. But responding is so important, and so I think that's the first thing is we responded really, really well. The second takeaway that maybe people don't notice or see, but based on not just the game but practice, is the cohesion of the team. Mm-hmm. Our guys are really starting to enjoy being around each other, and which we haven't seen. I haven't been able to see that until now, and so I think, and that's something that you talk about is when something good happens to one of your teammates, you got to feel good for
Right.
them. You know,
Right.
you can't say, God, I wish it was me. Yeah, we wish it was, but you know, you gotta be happy for them. So I think that's helping our team right now. I think our guys are pulling for each other and want to see everybody be successful. And then, of course, and when you get into the actual game, again, turnovers are important. You know, it's so funny that, you know, we fumbled the football, scooped it up and scored. That could have been terrible. It could have went the other way.
Yeah.
Their snap over the punter's head turns out great for us. Gives it to us on the 1, and then even in our interception, which turned out to be a great punt. You know, it's like downing the ball on the 1.
Yeah, I mean, you're in no man's land, so yeah.
Yeah, and even though it was a turnover and we didn't like it, it set us. Our guys didn't
Correct.
they didn't fall down. They didn't complain or moan or groan. They just went out there and made a play, and we got a safety off of it. So I think that turnovers are very important and something that we got to make sure that we're on the right side of, and don't give up if bad things happen.
Yeah, and there's two things I wanted to say too. Jeff Johnson, our sideline reporter, he made sure and said he wanted me to say to you, and I agree with this. Our guys look like they are in decent shape. They're not looking like they're getting fatigued. They're not wearing down. A couple of teams we've played have looked tired, and because they've had some going both ways more than us. But I agree with Jeff. I think that's a testament to what you guys are doing. I'll let you talk about that for a few seconds, and then I want to tell you too. I know the last time we met, and Coach Bolton was here last week, you said you were going to work with and challenge the OL. There's too much penetration. You were seeing too many things happening before you at the mesh point where things were going down. I didn't see that Friday.
Right.
They rose to the challenge you gave them, because I didn't see a lot of white shirts in the backfield a lot of the time. They might have got through here and there, but it was not like it was a couple games ago when you set that challenge for them. Right.
And Coach Cruz does a great job with them.
He does.
You know, he's going to have them knowing exactly where they're supposed to be, and it's hard, man. Right now he's in a boot.
Yeah.
It's not easy coaching in a boot, but he's done what he needed to do. Last week after we had that conversation, he took them over on the grass field and put them on the sled and made them push some things. Today they were underneath the chute blocking our defensive line. So Coach Cruz he's going to get them right. He's going to have where they need to be.
I worked with him a long time, and I know the one thing about Coach is their technique. They're going to know their technique. They're going to know where to go, and they're going to know what to do, and that it starts there. And that's where I've been noticing. I mean, with Josiah, we're going to get yards usually. I mean, he's going to be able to chip away a few, but he's been able to get loose. Yeah. And then TJ's having a clean pocket. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it with Coach Bolton. That's the things I'm noticing.
Right.
And really that makes me feel good to see that, because it goes back to what you said. They're gelling. Yeah. And you can tell that. I mean, and as a fan, you can tell that.
Right. And we always say people it's so. People don't talk about it enough, but you win games up front.
Yes.
I mean, whether people want to believe that or not, you win games up front. Mm-hmm. That's why I think that's why football is what it is.
Yes.
You go back to the old days, there wasn't even the forward pass. It was all, and that really hasn't changed. You just people don't watch it as much because they want to see all the pretty guys out there running around.
They do.
But those guys up front are where you're going to win ball games, and so. And we've got some good ones on both sides right now.
I agree with that. So, again, that's a big win for us. We're going to take a sponsor break right quick. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach about this week's game against North Gaston. So stick around. We'll be back after the sponsors in just a few minutes.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Coach, I know you've got to see some film on North Gaston. Obviously, we're not talking too much, but just some takeaways about what you're looking at. give us like what we're going to see them running offensively, defensively. Obviously, we're not going to reveal a game plan or anything, but just maybe some things you've seen.
Well, it's a little bit different. Their offense is a little bit different than what we've seen. It is a spread type offense, but they can go like what we call gun pistol. It's like, so they can have it's like regular shotgun with a running back to the left, but they got a pistol, another back behind them. So there's a lot of things they can do out of that. It's a great formation run option and stuff of that nature. We hadn't seen a lot of that, but they're a zone type team, stretch type team. They're just going to try to reach downfield and get on your outside and let their guys run. They do some wildcat stuff, so they'll put a guy back there and snap it to him and have two lead blockers coming to blow you up, just like old school football. So they do a lot of different things. You have to keep your eyes on personnel of who they've got out there. Yeah. That's going to be important for us, but they do a good job offensively, just especially running the football. Yeah. So you're going to see some 12 personnel type looks, a tight end with the wing back or H back, and it makes it tough. So and like I said, they use different formations, so there's a lot of stuff you got to line up to. Defensively, what I've seen is an even front, and they've got a middle field safety, and again, they're going to do different things. The guys here, they know they know coach, and they're going to send guys from all different angles, and so we've got to be able to pick up on all of that, and just see if we can't establish a run, but also be able to throw the ball when we need to. So it's going to be kind of one of those games where we've seen them on film. But it's going to be one of those things as the game goes on. We got to watch what's happening. Sure.
Well, and I know with Coach Wilson, I mean, they're going to be ready. He knows our guys, and he's establishing himself there at North, and I'm looking forward to be a good game to be down there. I'm excited about our guys and what we're going to see, and I know it's going to be a big time for it. And I know we've got a couple days to prepare, so. That's
not as many as we would like.
Not as many. Yeah, so correct.
I don't know if y'all have announced that.
We're going to here at the end, but we just kind of alluded to it. Coach, what I'll do, because we just went to a sponsor break, let's go ahead and do our players of the week, and I'll do that with you, and then we'll do what we normally do, let you get out of here because you've had a long day. So let's do our Butler Outdoor Designs players of the week, and we'll start with offense. You do your honorable mentions.
Well, let's do overall first.
Got it.
We'll do it just like it is on Max Preps.
Okay.
So our overall player of the game this week is Josiah Hill again, and I'm gonna look back and forth.
Give his stats, because I gave the touchdowns, but I want to hear everything.
Yeah, he had 24 carries for 111 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. But then he also had 3 catches for 31 yards and 1 reception for a touchdown.
Right.
So that's a pretty good night. And
is that 142 all-purpose yards, something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. So he's I picked him for that and for that reason. Sure. Because of not only was he running the football, but he was also catching it. But we had some other guys that were. That would be considered honorable mentions, which, and I'll explain why I'm going to go ahead. But TJ had a great night. He was, I believe, 12 for 22 is what I wrote down. 236 yards, 3 touchdown passes. That's pretty good. A good night for a quarterback. Tex, 5 catches for 105 yards. He looked great. He had a touchdown catch. Gash had 4 catches for 81 yards with a touchdown. And so, when I'm looking at that, we have 4 different receivers catch the ball, which is good. Spreading it around makes it tougher on defenses. So all that, I thought all those guys did really good. But so to go to the next player of the week, let's go to offense. And so we're going to do something that we had all those guys that I just talked about, and all of them, any of them could be it. But I decided, was talking with Coach Cruz, and Jack Kaiser is our offensive tackle. Except for one holding penalty on a crucial pass, we threw a great ball down in the corner. I believe that was Gash that called it. That got called back because Jack was called for holding.
Yes.
So that was his one X for tonight. But Coach Cruz said that he played probably his best game this year. And so we're going to go with an offensive lineman. We got to show them some love. And so Jack Kaiser will be our offensive player of the week. Let's do special teams.
Okay.
Special teams player of the week is Antonio Armstrong, and the reason why is I went through. If we hadn't had the kickoff return called back, it would be Gash.
That would have been easy.
If it wasn't for something else, missed a PAT, so it's not Rom. And Vance probably had his worst night of punting, which he was in a tough situation because we wanted him to kick it down in the corner both times, but he took a little bit too much off of it. But anyway, so I just kept looking. I was like, man, somebody's got to be special.
Yeah.
We're going to go with Antonio because he came through there and blocked that extra point.
He did.
And
that was big.
Those were exciting. Yeah.
That was a momentum changer because they had just run that back and he shot through there and blocked it. Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, and then they went, So Antonio will be the special teams player of the week. The defensive player of the week just again going back looking at all the production points, the player of the week is going to be Eli. Eli Lipscomb had a great night. In his stats, he had 5 tackles and 3 quarterback pressures, which is awesome. He had a sack, 2 tackles for loss, which is great. But he also was involved with 2 third down stops, which is big for us. We are big on any third or fourth down stop. That's huge for us. So he ended up with 64 production points for us, and really I think he may have been on more sacks than just one, but I would have to go back and check it. But he had a great night. He kept pressure on them all night long, and so I'm gonna go with Eli. But again, honorable mentions. Antonio had a great night. He ended up with 9 tackles, which is awesome, and the block kick, which was great. And I forgot that Eli also he had the safety. He's the one who tracked the guy down in the end zone. But he had a great night. Samaj Odom had a great night. He had 3.5 sacks, which was awesome. So there's more than just this, because that's the thing. That's the hard thing about doing player of the week, because after a while you hear the same guys all the time. But we have other dudes that are really playing well, and but I'm gonna go with Eli. And another part of that is if people do not know yet, we found out last week. Eli has been picked to represent Kings Mountain High School in the East-West All-Star game.
That's awesome.
So we're excited for him. We know he'll be a great representative for our school and community. I have all the information on it. They're going to play the game in the winter this year, which North Carolina usually doesn't do. They
do their clinic. Yeah,
they do it in the summertime. So I believe it's January 22nd. I believe is he'll be playing in Greensboro, and that'll be a fun event for him. So we're excited for him.
Well, something that our school does, I love. They put plaques on the shape of the state of North Carolina. And put it up there so he'll have that up there forever.
That's it.
And I'm honored because my son made it. He was at East. My oldest son was an East-West All-Star, and it's just neat to know that he's among. That's a privileged few that are on that wall for KM, and that's a big deal. So great for him. But that doesn't surprise me. He's a tremendous player. But again, you talk about spreading the love. What I like about it, I know it's hard to pick a specific player. What's wonderful about this is that we have multiple to choose from.
That's right.
And that shows how hard the guys are playing.
Yep.
I talked to Jack after the game Friday night, and I told him that. I said, I think that you played, the best I've seen. And the one run, I told him about this one specifically, that Joe ran toward the scoreboard end.
Yep.
Jack just absolutely annihilated the guy and it sprung Joe. But yes, I thought so too. But again, it goes back to that movement of what Coach Cruz is doing with them and getting them ready, and then the guys buying into it
Yes.
and believing and knowing they could. I even talked to Jack yesterday at church, and I did it in church on purpose because I talked about the exchange that you had with the offensive line after the first drive.
Yeah.
But he told me even that he said, we deserved it, and he said, and I said that it changed the tone, and he said it sure did, and we were ready. So I'm excited about where we are and what we're doing, Coach. I know y'all are working like crazy. We appreciate what you're doing and putting a good product out there for us. And last week wasn't easy. Talked about this with Coach Bolton because I love what our school does in the community for homecoming, but it can be a distraction sometimes. Yes. And it's hard to keep guys focused, but we were ready. We came down and we were ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great week. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it, and I preached to our players all week long. You got to drown all that out. You go enjoy it because it's seniors is this your senior year of homecoming is and everybody remembers it. But the bottom line is homecomings aren't even fun if you don't win. Correct.
There's a ball game to play.
There's a game to play, and they did great. I mean, they really did great. Went through the parade, got back. We got right back on schedule, and finished. We did everything exactly kind of the way we wanted to.
Well, Coach, good to have you back this week.
Yes, sir.
Coach Bolton was good, but he's just not the same.
Yeah, well, he's a lot better looking than I am, but
he's got great hair.
Yeah,
he's got great hair.
We say that. We ask him, man, how you do that?
How does he do it?
Little moose. I think he puts a little moose in there or something.
And it doesn't move.
I don't even know what moose is.
I don't either, but you threw it out there, so it's got to be something. Coach, we appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Oh, and you got the game. You're going to let them know about the game?
Yes, I got it.
If he doesn't tell you, it's on him. All right.
Yep, we got it right here. Appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
Guys, we'll go to a commercial break. We'll be right back and close out for the show. Thanks. Yeah, we got you. You go home.
Yep.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Like we always do, we're going to go over some of the things that are going on at Kings Mountain High School this week, as well as a couple other announcements. So you can see the graphic on the board, of course. Tonight, our men's soccer team is at North Gaston. Just the varsity only are playing. They're out there. I hope they're doing great and getting a big win for us. Tomorrow on the 24th at 1:30, our women's golf team will play at Kings Mountain Country Club. 4:30 p.m. volleyball is at Ashbrook. 4:30 women's tennis is at Forest View. And at 5 p.m. cross country is at Shell. We got a full day tomorrow. The 25th, Wednesday, men's soccer is at Forest View at 5 p.m. Drew, that's also the middle school game. 4:30. Middle school game is here also at 4:30. If you would like to come to that. Against Lincoln. Thank you, Drew. On Thursday, the 26th, let me back up. JV is now playing on Wednesday. JV will play Wednesday at 7 after the middle school game. And so, it's a doubleheader. Come out and get more bang for your buck. On Thursday at 4:30, women's tennis is hosting South Point. Volleyball is at Hunter Huss, just the varsity. And varsity football is now Thursday, and it is at 6 p.m. That is an early release day for Cleveland County Schools for parent-teacher conferences. But now varsity football is Thursday at 6 p.m. due to the threat of weather that is coming in on Friday and partly on Thursday. So make that note. JV is Wednesday at 7. Varsity is Thursday at 6 p.m. JV is at home. Varsity is at North Gaston. JV 7 Wednesday. Varsity 6 Thursday. Speaking of being at North Gaston, we've got a graphic for that too. We want to remind you of the policies there, and it tells you about how to buy our tickets. We have their tickets. You can go to the Hometown Ticketing app. You can pay cash at the gate. There is a no bag policy in Gaston County. That means no bags. Don't try to carry any in. They're going to turn you around and send you back to your car. It doesn't matter if it's clear, it doesn't matter what size it is. Gaston County Schools has a no bag policy, and since we are visiting, we have to uphold that on our side as well. We will not be streaming the game, but we will have audio. Drew and Lamont will be doing audio. Pre-game, I'm assuming now, will kick off at, we don't know yet, 5:15ish, 5:30. Probably won't be a long pre-game, with the kickoff being at 6, and that will be Thursday. So that's that we have there to do. Drew's also got another graphic for us of something big coming up in the town of Kings Mountain. I want to promote that. You ready for that, Drew? Yep. Mountaineer Days. We want to promote Mountaineer Days because we are a community school. We love our community, and we hope that you will come out on October the 12th, all Mountaineer Nation. We'll go out from 12 noon to 10 p.m. You can see there on the screen, live music. There's food, there's rides, games, sweet potato pie recipes contest. We've got a jack-o'-lantern decorating contest. We've got some pumpkin pie eating and beard and mustache and goatee competitions. That's going to be interesting. And Wade Hayes, am I correct? Yep. Wade Hayes is the headliner that will bring the concert at the end of the night for the end of Mountaineer Days. Please come out on October 12th. We'll talk about that again over the next couple of weeks on our show as well. So as always, we'd like to thank you for being with us. We thank the Touchdown Club for allowing us to have this opportunity to do this. Remember, if you are interested in joining the Touchdown Club and you're not already a member, please go to kmtouchdownclub.com. You can see David Brinkley or Marie or one of the members at the ball game. They are always set up there by the concession, not the old concession stand, by the press box, or go to kmtouchdownclub.com. You can also talk to one of us about joining. Remember, KM Touchdown Club is all things Mountaineer, academic, athletic, everything. They are huge supporters of our entire program, including the middle school. So we want to thank them for that. Always, I tell you too, to like and subscribe to the channel if you are not there yet. We would love to have you be a member of our channel on YouTube. The more members we have, the more it helps us in promoting our product. So remember, JV game Thursday at 7 after the middle school game at 4:30. Varsity game Thursday at 6 p.m. at North Gaston. That's a change. So we will see you Thursday at North Gaston, if not before, at Wednesday here to see the JV play North Gaston at home. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Have a wonderful week and be blessed.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, KM Family YMCA, KM Paint Pros LLC, Arthur Services Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home,